Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald, Second Swing Golf, out here on the driving range at Braemar Golf Course with Mr. Jake Montgomery, a master club fitter. And today we have a swing report for you, but typically we have golf clubs, club heads. Today we're going to go with shafts. So the FUJIKURA Ventus line has expanded. We have the Velocore Plus models this year. So we had the blue earlier in the year, and now red and black have joined the lineup, Jake. This is pretty good stuff. I know the fitters have really enjoyed the Ventus models of the past. We've had TR, we've had the original, so now you got Velocore Plus. I guess, what have you seen from, the blue model? And then we're also going to test all three today. So what have you seen so far, and what do you expect out of these shafts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Velocore across the board is definitely our most sold premium or upgrade shaft. They're very, very popular on the tour and with consumers. What we traditionally see with a Velocore shaft is lower spin, faster ball speed, tighter dispersion. That's really the kind of selling point for them. It just makes your driver a little longer, a little more accurate. The way it does that is with some of the fibers and materials in there. It helps kind of decrease deflection on a toe or on a heel strike, keeps the face a little bit more square. And then it also helps a little bit with that efficient energy transfer from the face into the ball.
So the scientific way, I guess, they do that, there's a unique pitch fiber inside the shaft there in what they call the bias layer. So that kind of, basically it makes it more forgiving. It's almost like adding MOI to the shaft, which you hear about in the driver head, but they do it in the shaft here as well.
100%, yeah. Those fibers just work really well together to lower that torque and just really keep that face from twisting open or close on a miss.
Yeah, because I think that's the key component that you hear so much about the club head, and it's resisting to twist and off the toe, off the heel, but they're also shaft models that can help with resisting to that twist as 100%. Well. So there's three models. We should talk about the three different colors.
Yes.
Red, blue, black. What do you know about each of them? They obviously have different profiles. They're built a little different. What do you know about these?
Yeah, so the red here, this is similar to what I play. This is going to be a higher launch, mid to low spin shaft. The blue is going to be mid launch, low spin, and then that black is your low, low. Yep. So depending on the flight window you're trying to achieve, the spin numbers you have coming in, it really lets us kind of dial in trajectory spin rate.
Yep, I know the black Ventus, whether it's the original or with the Velocore or it's been the TR, you see a lot of black
100%.
In drivers on tour, but you also see a lot of red and blue only on tour, whether it might be driver or maybe into some fairy woods too. You see a lot of those out there. So today we're just going to test each one, hit a few shots with each, and then of course we've got the Titleist GT driver here to test. We've got a driving range, we've got TrackMan. You ready to go, Jake?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, so we're starting with the red,
Yep.
which is of the three going to be the highest launching. And so I'm curious too, because you said you play the TR red. So
correct.
I'm curious too, like what happens here and if these become almost like not a fit for you based on what we see with performance.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some numbers. I've done a little testing in the bay there, but I always like to get it outside, kind of see the ball flight as well.
Yeah.
My kind of optimal numbers are like 12 to 14 launch, low 2000 spin.
Okay.
I would expect this obviously to be the highest launching. I'm curious what that spin rate is going to be at with this being a little softer than that TR red. Let's hit a little better.
Yeah, the draw's working there.
Yep, she's working left.
And that's kind of your shot shape that you
100%.
go to pretty much every time. And from what I've seen in our testing and what I know you can do out there too.
What was the carry on that?
Carry there was 258, total 293.
All right.
Launch was low at 8.5.
Yeah, I think my face got a little shut there.
There's the
that
ball.
was better.
Yeah. That drew back nicely towards the center. Yeah, that launch at 11.6 there.
Okay.
1.48 smash. You said you hit it pretty good. That one, the total was just a hair under 300 yards.
Okay, absolutely.
It's another good one.
Yeah. I like that flight.
Yep, similar, very similar to that last one. 11.5 launch there.
All right.
That one, again, the total, just a hair under 300 yards.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. There's a good ball.
That was caught pretty well.
150 smash right off the bat here. TrackMan's reading. It's a good way to start things. All right. So that one was 11.5 on the launch again. So that's kind of seems to be where you hit this one good. It's about 11.5 launch, at least today. That one carried at 285 for a 309 total.
I like that.
So if we break down things here, we got 109.3 club speed, 163 ball speed, 1.49 on the smash. The average launch at the end of the day was 10.8. I know you had one at the beginning that was kind of a low launcher.
Yep.
But an average total of 300 yards.
Okay.
And pretty good dispersion pattern as well. What do you think about the feel?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty familiar. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I play that TR Red. I like something with a much more active mid and tip section. I can really feel that shaft load and release. I definitely felt a little more flex here in the handle, which I expected to see. That TR is a little stiffer there. But it just felt very smooth. It felt like I didn't have to really swing at it to get that active load and release.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good to know. Let's go then to the blue model here.
Okay, let's do it. Definitely a little lower flight on that.
Yeah, right away. I mean, that one, obviously you hit it good. It was a 150 smash, and it definitely launched a little bit lower than the red one did. Honestly, it's still really good drive. I mean, 23, 27 spin, so it still has the spin that you need.
100%.
272.8 carry, 304.3 on the total.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, just launched at 9.3 versus you were in the kind of a mid 11.5s with the red.
Yep.
There's one.
Yeah, I like that.
Just right of the target, but still really good. So that one that one was a little bit higher than the first one, but the launch is 10.5.
Okay.
So I think, I don't know, again, we have a couple more shots here, but like that felt like a pretty solid ball flight for at least what I've seen from you off the tee.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's still, the launch was definitely still noticeably lower than the red.
Yeah, and I mean, my face angle there was a little bit more open than I'd say it typically is. So seeing that 10.5 launch just a little lower than that red makes sense.
Yeah, 273.9 carry, 301.4 total.
Okay. Getting some pretty good total distance out of this thing so far.
Oh yeah. That one's kind of knuckling out there. Let's see, 148 smash. Yep, 10.6 on the launch there.
Okay.
Definitely had a little bit of that knuckle spin action, but still ended up over 300 with the total.
All right.
So, how was the contact on that one?
That was pretty solid. I mean, it was centered, if not slightly in the tail.
Okay.
So I'd explain a little lower spin, but I would say, I think overall we're going to see a bit lower spin rate.
It is interesting because if it was off a little bit, clearly there's some correction. I mean, that ball went pretty dead.
Oh yeah, I mean, if anything, it went a little right, which my toe shots tend to really get moving left.
Right.
So that was pretty good.
All right, let's get one more good one here.
All right.
There's another good ball.
Yeah, just a little fade there.
Hanging out a tad to the right, but still very, very straight, very much in the fairway if we're on a golf course. That one launched a little bit lower at 9.5.
Okay.
Let's get some total averages here between the two shafts. We've got club speed pretty similar, right in the 109s. Ball speed pretty similar, 163.1 to 163.2.
Okay.
So the difference becomes the average launch for the blue was 10.0 and 10.8 for the red. Interestingly, actually, the spin was a little bit higher with the blue, and that could have been part of the ball going a little bit farther right on 100%. The dispersion pattern. Total distances, you have a little bit more carry with the blue, 270 to 300, and 300 total on both of them.
Gotcha.
So,
awesome.
Numbers aren't super crazy. I mean, we did get higher peak height with the blue, 78 feet. But I think a little bit of that was related to the spin, just being a little bit with that face open.
100%. I was consciously leaving my face a little bit more open on the blue, just trying to avoid a bit of a left shot there, which is going to cause the spin to go up a little bit.
Right. But that launch clearly showed itself, I guess, the differences right off the bat,
100%.
Right when you make contact, and we kind of see it visually.
Yeah, you can see it initially to start a lot lower.
Yeah. All right, now we get to that beast here. We got the black one here. Let's try that.
Absolutely.
There's a good Paul.
I like that.
Is that the best one all day? I mean,
Might
in
have
terms
been.
of
Definitely the straightest.
It's definitely the closest to the target, or at least it looks like it from here. So one thing I didn't ask you was the feel of the blue. I know you just hit the black, so maybe it's tough to, think back to that. But the feel of the blue versus the red, did you feel anything different there?
I would say it felt a little bit more stable. It felt definitely harder to turn over. That tip section wasn't quite as soft there.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, you can definitely still feel it kind of load, which I like that feel because it helps a lot with my timing. But it definitely felt a little bit stiffer than what we saw in the red, and we could see launch-wise, it was coming out a little lower.
Okay, good, yeah. And then we got one swing with the black there. I don't know if you have any good feel feedback on that yet. Launch there was 9.9, so already a little bit lower. And that was, I mean, really well-struck ball, too. 149 smash factor, 269 carry, 300 total. So
yeah, I mean, you can just feel how firm this is immediately. Like right here, it's just not a whole lot of give. It just comes through. It kind of feels like one solid piece.
This is it's wild to think about how some of these tour pros, you know, like the Cameron Champs and the Jake Knaps and these guys that can generate a ton of lag, they do so with shafts like this. And it makes no sense because when I feel and swing that shaft, it's like how this thing's not moving.
Oh yeah, no, they're moving at speeds that I can't even fathom. That was so off the heel.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, let's see what happens here. All right. Wow. Okay. What would you guess the spin was on that shot? I know you. I'm looking at it right now.
3,000.
Okay. 25.75 on the spin there. So it ended up going still 292.5 yards.
Wow.
With the total. Launch was 8.8, which happens on a heel shot a little bit lower. But that's okay. That's some really good stuff.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long.
I mean, you immediately after contact, that is so far off the heel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's actually flying out there. And the dispersion-wise, it's just a tiny bit left of center, but it's still very much in the fairway. Even if it's a skinny fairway, that thing is still very much in play.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about these shafts. I can't tell you how many shots that I've hit where I'm like, that felt horrendous, and it just finds the center of the fairway.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example. That one launched a little higher. You had the face a little bit open, so that would be a part of it. But this, distance-wise, has a chance to be really far for you. Yep, 2,000 spin, 280.5 carry, 308.3 on the total there. Like that one. 12.7 on the launch, so that is one of the higher launching shots today.
Definitely.
Your attack angle, actually, it was only 2.4 there. It wasn't crazy up either.
My guess is that might have been one of the more open face shots I've hit today.
Yeah, the face angle was 4.5.
Yeah.
So a little bit open compared to the other shots was part of it, but the ball did draw back nicely to the middle. Whoa! Did you just break the ball?
It might have.
I think
that was an
broke the
insane
ball.
flight. What did it show on TrackMan?
It shows, okay, look at it, it shows on TrackMan. I mean, pretty darn straight.
Yeah.
You hit it good. I don't know. I kind of want to, I think what happened for the folks that didn't just see what happened, I think the ball broke.
Yeah, just.
Because it like flew and then it couldn't have.
It like knuckleballed and then
dove. It could have dove out of the sky faster than it did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the ball broke at impact. Because it wasn't like right away. It flew right away and all of a sudden, zzz.
Yeah.
So anyway, the numbers show a 148 smash, 11.0 launch, 1523 spin, 260.4 total, or carry, 299.9 total. Does that feel like it was maybe heading for that? I don't know.
It felt pretty solid, and I mean, contact-wise, I usually feel when I hit kind of a knuckler.
Yeah.
This shaft helps with that a lot.
Okay.
Definitely felt like a low spin golf shot.
So it felt like a knuckler kind of?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It was slightly high on the face, which will drop some spin down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if I mean, yeah, we'll run with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the black is just so powerful that it breaks golf balls. I don't know. But all right, let's do a quick rundown of what we have for a comparison of the three shafts numbers-wise. Interesting turnout here. And again, we know this isn't a gigantic sample size. You'll get, better representation. If you go into the fitting bay, you can maybe hit, these shafts a little bit more, or maybe with a couple different driver models as well. Interestingly enough, the total distance average on all three was basically the same: 300.2, 300.7, 300.2.
Wow.
Launch for the black at the end of the day was 10.6 average. You had obviously the one at 12.7 kind of skewed it a little bit higher. The peak height was 78 feet, so everything's kind of in that 80 feet range.
Yeah.
Highest launch at the end of the day though was the red, as we kind of predicted.
Makes sense.
The spin on the black was 2,100 on average. Any other numbers you're curious about, or anything feel-wise you have feedback there?
How does the spin break down between the three models?
So it was 1984 with the red. It was 2278 with the blue, and then 2100 with the black.
Okay.
So black was lower than the blue. And then we also should note the face angle differences here. The red was actually the most open on the face angle too.
Yeah.
So, but anything there surprise you or anything, you know?
I would say I would guess the tightest dispersion for me was with that black.
Oh yeah. Yep, it definitely was.
Yeah. Was the red a little bit more to the left?
It was. Yep.
Yeah. And then blue maybe slightly to the right.
Yeah, you had one, basically with the blue, you had one shot that was left of center and the other 3 were right of center.
Okay.
So,
I mean, what you're saying to me makes a lot of sense. I play red, which I've sometimes questioned in the past, but I love the feel.
yeah.
It does tend to go a little left on me, so I play it and I just generally leave my hands a little bit more open,
Yeah.
which explains why maybe that face was a little bit more open on that club.
Yep.
Shafts like this for me have gone very straight but low. Like you said, like unless I leave it a little right, it's going to launch pretty low on me. So I've steered away from kind of a traditional black for me, something like that, because I also generally don't have trouble getting spin down too much. Even in that higher spin shaft, I was about 1900 there. I would say they all feel very, very solid. Even in like the softer model, like the red, it doesn't feel unstable or way too whippy or anything like that. And I can definitely feel that those fibers really holding that face square on that mid side. I mean, especially that one with the black there, like on a non-Velocore shaft, that ball might be on hole 18.
That heel shot with the black too was something very surprising in a good way for me.
Yeah.
Right away to hear somebody say, "Oh, that's a heel shot," and I know your spin rates, you know, you're hovering a little over 2,000 most of the time. So I was like, okay, this is going to be 2,900, 3,000 maybe, 2,575 I think it was, is so good there. So, all right, we've got some numbers. Let's kind of wrap things up here with the final thoughts.
Let's do it.
All right, so Jake, testing complete there. Again, we know not a huge sample size, but we got some initial feel feedback, but also some data to look at. What did you see? Let's kind of just break down each one. We'll start with the red. What did you see from that one, and what do you think, you know, in the fitting bay, the type of golfer that'll best be suited to play the red model?
Yeah, so I mean, what I saw was a little bit higher launch, spin rate pretty moderate.
Yeah.
That model really is for a player that's looking to get the golf ball up in the air. A drawer like myself, where they struggle to get the ball up just because of dynamic loft issues, spins rate's a little bit lower because you're so in to out. That shaft is going to be very, very good because it's going to help get as much peak height on there, because that's really what's going to unlock your distance. The longer the ball stays in the air, the further it carries, the further it's going to roll out.
Sure. Then I got the blue here. So we saw the blue kind of definitely, at least when we were watching the ball take off, it was definitely launching a little bit lower than the red one was. What do you think about this one? I know it's kind of stated as sort of like, you know, mid-launch, mid-spin in comparison to the 3. So it kind of fits right in between them.
Yeah, it really is kind of that Goldilocks. It's just right in between. If you're not looking for something that's going to be as stiff and stout as the black, but something a little bit firmer than that red, that's kind of where you'd go there. I still fit higher spin players into the blue, because oftentimes a little softer shaft for them, they're able to get through the ball a little bit easier compared to this black, where face angle is going to be a little bit more shut. And it still is, for a mid-launch shaft, fairly low spinning compared to other options out there.
Sure. And then lastly, we got to cover the black one, which you actually hit really well. We had a couple of fun shots there with the heel shot and then the knuckleball broken driving range ball. But the black one, let's run over that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is really for your fast club head speed, high spin guy. This is going to help control flight. Most of the time I put someone in this, we're trying to bring peak height down, get the launch down, get the spin rate down, try and rein in dispersion as well. This is going to be the most stable of the options. So if you're applying a lot of force to a shaft, this is definitely where I'd go.
Sure. Well, golfers, you've heard it here today. The FUJIKURA Ventus Velocore Plus models are now in the Tour Van bays at Second Swing, and as Jake has alluded to, the Ventus lineup in the past has been super popular in that premium shaft category, and so get fit for yours. And the driver, there also are 3-wood models as well, or 4-wood models, but get fit for yours today and elevate your game with the woods, essentially. So Jake, thanks for your time today. Thanks for hitting the shots. We got some good data here.
Thanks for having me.